Hello, friends. Mali Ponfidith here, CEO of the SOAR Community Network and co-founder of the SOAR Community Nebula. We're bringing to you community change agents and builders of positive social impact. So today I bring to you Shahed Kader. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
I'm delighted. So we met several months ago, and we were in a room full of hundreds of people, I would say, and yet we connected, and now we're finally presenting you to our community, the world. Can you reintroduce yourself to our community and let us know what you currently are doing in the world?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So hi, everybody. My name is Shahed Kader. I am managing attorney at Law Office of KS Kader, PLLC. I'm a DC-based attorney. I am licensed in Washington, DC, and my firm specifically helps startup small businesses and technology companies with their legal needs when it comes down to it. I personally have about a decade of experience actually working at technology companies, actually working at startups, running sales departments, working in sales, and selling them to profitability. And so I went to law school in the evening and decided that the way that I want to make an impact in this world is really helping people kind of achieve their American or economic dreams by giving them affordable legal services. And so here I am.
That's wonderful. Well, our series is all about highlighting the conscious leaders in the world that are intentional about giving back and doing good. So what I like to do is step back and share a personal journey of yours, perhaps someone in your life, perhaps a mentor, a role model that you can highlight or would like to highlight who's helped you and guided you to becoming the person you are today.
Sure. I mean, I think it's a variety of people. I mean, I can start with different portions of my life. It starts with, my father. I am an immigrant to the United States. My family moved to Flushing, Queens, New York, where I was raised back in 1993 when I was about 6 years old, 6 years and a couple of months old. And my father was 40 years old with 2 kids and, a couple of $1,000s to his name, and decided to move over here and, worked his butt off on an L1 visa, began a business, started his business, brought his family over. And, he showed us what it means to be an entrepreneur first and foremost, meaning, we never saw him missing from home, right? It could be 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a summer Friday or summer Thursday, and he'd be home having lunch with us or having a late lunch with us because he's able to, because he was an entrepreneur and he makes his own schedule. On top of that, he also made sure that we gave back to the community and especially people in our culture. He was always deeply kind of embedded in my culture. I'm culturally Bangladeshi, from Bangladesh. That's where I was immigrated from. And he was very integrated with the Bangladeshi community in Queens and New York through several different endeavors. He had a phone card calling card company. He had he did real estate with them. He also had a party center, or just like a banquet hall that hosted cultural events. It was said that, watch out for helping people that are in the same situation as you. And it didn't even just come out to like Bangladeshi people. It came out to other immigrants, other people that are just trying to make it here in America or wherever they're settled. And so I would say that was probably my biggest influence starting out or growing up. And past that, at different times, different people came into my life. Throughout college, I had friends that were very ambitious. Specifically in college, I think that's when I got closer to my brother, who himself is an entrepreneur. He had, he ran his companies and sold them, and he was always very driven and very much. He was hard on me because I wasn't applying myself at that time, but at the same time, I know why he was hard on me, and he made me apply myself as I grew older, as I graduated from college, as I started my career. And then I think the latest inspiration, I would say, is the CEO of the last company that I worked for, a company called Aptible. The CEO, his name was Chaz. He took a chance on me and in hiring me as his lead salesperson back in 2015. And luckily I was able to deliver. But Chaz himself, he was also an attorney, and he was doing something different with his law degree. He started a company that was making software to assist healthcare technology companies initially, and now it's basically government regulated companies. And so he was always very great at guiding me in the right direction when it comes to my studies, what to do with my career, or just giving me sound advice as I grew older. And now, tomorrow is my birthday. Tomorrow I'm 33 years old. I'm I'm still getting new mentors and people that are inspiring me every single day.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
As you think about community builders and champions of change in your life, you've mentioned a few already, but yeah, I know you do a lot of networking. Your clients are doing great things with their businesses as well. What are some of the attributes and characteristics that are consistent with community builders and change agents who are really intentional about how they give back and the type of social impact they desire?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, I mean, it sounds cliche, but I think persistence is the most key trait that I see across the board. And anybody that I see as successful, whether it's a community builder, whether it's in business, whether it's in anything like that, they stay persistent with their goals, but at the same time, they're willing to change the methods in which they achieve those goals. So meaning, if one thing doesn't work, they're willing to think about another way to approach the same problem, to tackle the same problem. It may not be what they put 2 or 3 years worth of work behind and realize, hey, this is not working anymore. And that's fine, but you have to be open to knowing or understanding there's different ways to achieve that goal. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So how are you a champion for change and community builders? Are there causes that you care about, movements, initiatives that you're really there helping to advance? Can you give me some examples?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, personally, I started this business to really help uh, companies and founders and entrepreneurs that don't necessarily have access to high quality legal assistance really achieve what they need from a corporate standpoint, from a business law standpoint, reviewing their contracts and all that stuff. That's one way that I'm trying to make an impact. On the other side of things, my wife and I are actually actively, we've begun work on creating a nonprofit to help less fortunate children who have specifically lost a parent, either through tragedy or through orphanage or anything like that, receive mental health care. And so that's something that her and I truly believe, especially since we became parents earlier this year, and we understand the impact of having appropriate mental health assistance when it comes down to your early childhood development. So we're still in the research phases, but this is something that we're passionate about, and we're pursuing to launch in the next 12 months or so.
What inspired you to go down that track, that particular lane in your nonprofit? Why specifically with children who have lost parents, and then also focusing on the mental health issue? Was there an experience that took place that said, hey, we have to support these children in this way?
Yeah, it's a combination of things, really. So first and foremost, we just became parents. We have a 9-month-old at home, and he's a joy. He's great. It's awesome to just watch him grow and watch him develop into who he is. And based on that, we see like the support that he needs from us. On the other side of things, it's also kind of understanding the importance of mental health. Period. Both my wife and I are very big proponents of mental health. In not only our community, which is some think of it as taboo, specifically in the South Asian community, but we find it extremely important that mental health care is kind of put on a pedestal. You have to understand why you're feeling a certain way. And with children, I mean, they're too young to even understand. Hey, I don't have a parent here. I don't have this support system, and I don't fully understand what is going to how I'm being affected because I'm treated a certain way, or because I'm missing this support system around me. So we just think that we felt that this was something that was worth pursuing and helping. At least we could start in the DC area and from there.
Do you have a name yet for the nonprofit?
No, not yet. We have a couple in mind, but that's
Okay.
they'll be released when we actually form the company and all that.
Well, we'll have to get you both back on the program when it's solidified and have you talk about that. It's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So we know that life can be challenging. We know that business and entrepreneurship can have its ups and downs. So when you've had those down times or feeling a little like, oh gosh, what's going on right now? What am I doing? Is there a quote or a motto or philosophy that you tap into to get you back to center?
Yeah, I'll show it to you, actually. Give me one sec. It's written here on my, I have a big poster that says, keep moving forward. It's so odd where I got this quote, but I got it from a Disney movie called Meet the Robinsons. And they just kept repeating this mantra over and over. Apparently it's a Walt Disney quote. but it really helped me kind of get where I am today and keeps me moving forward, obviously, to where I want to be later, achieving my goals. And there was a time in my life where I was kind of stagnant. I want to say it was about 6, 7 years ago. This is, by the way, this today, like November 8th, November 9th, this time, not only is it my birthday, it's very important to me because this is a time that helped me kind of every year. I kind of reevaluate what's happened and what changes I need to make. Obviously, with our birthdays, that was what we do. But about 6 years ago today, or 7 years ago now, 2012, a lot of things changed for me. And I watched this movie, and it was, I was sitting in the dark. It was Hurricane Sandy just happened. I was in New York City, and I had no power. And I was sitting in the dark. I'm like, man, I'm stagnant in my career. I don't really know what to do. I don't know what's next. I don't think I'm going to be ever be able to be financially successful or really impact people in a positive way. And the next day I started studying for the LSATs, and literally the next day, and I bought the books. I started studying, and 8 months later I was enrolled in New York Law School. It's my alma mater, New York Law School's evening division, while continuing my career. And it's just this quote is what helped me to get there, and this quote still helps me every single day.
Wow,
And
that's so inspiring. That's so inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Sure.
I think we all get there in certain phases in our lives when we're just feeling like, what am I doing? And the fact that you really sat there and said, okay, I have to do something about this. And the next day you did it is just really commendable, and it's awesome. So I'm glad you did that. And I'm glad you're here today. All right. We're coming to the close of our interview here. I know, it goes by really quick, right?
Yeah.
If you can imagine or reimagine a better world, what would it look like through your eyes?
That's a heavy question. I don't know. I really don't. I think that while there is a lot of things that are wrong with this world, there's a lot of things that are right with this world. I think we're all going in the right direction. And sometimes it doesn't seem like that, especially with the current climate, in certain aspects, as far as racism or hate crimes or whatnot. But, think about 50, 60 years ago, it was much worse. Every day we're improving. Every day things are getting better for all kinds of people. But I think, in all honesty, the one thing that would make the world a better place is just a better distribution of wealth when it comes down to it. If you, in America itself, there's plenty of people that are relying on food stamps, or people that are just not able to get the care that they need. But outside of this, the rest of the world, there's people that are strictly in straight poverty, in living in situations that you could never even imagine. Right, having an office, this is an extreme luxury. They live in huts. They don't have access to clean water. They don't have access to, basic medicines or anything like that. So, just a better way to care for all the human beings in this world would be what I think would lead to a better world.
I concur. What can we do to support you right now? And what is the best way to reach you and find out more information about you and your practice?
Sure. Yeah. At this point, just stay in touch. If you're working on something interesting, if you're working on something that's going to change the world, whether it's technology, whether it's for-profit, nonprofit, and you need some legal assistance, feel free to reach out to me. There's a lot of things that I can't necessarily practice. But once again, I am a DC licensed attorney, so I work with clients in DC and sometimes outside if I'm allowed to. I don't do litigation, but if you need something that I don't necessarily do, I can absolutely point you to another attorney that does. I have a whole network of attorneys that I work with very closely that do other things that should be able to help you. If you're working on something, you need some assistance, feel free to reach out. We'll figure out a way to work together. If you want to learn more, if you want to reach out, you can go to my website. It's kaderlaw.com. That's www.KAD as in David, ER as in Richard, law.com.
Great. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for being a part of this Nebula initiative and getting the word out there that good people, ordinary, extraordinary people, can do great things. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to working with you further and the rest of the network.
Absolutely. For those that are watching, thank you so much for following us and being a part of this global initiative. Please remember to nominate yourself or someone in your community who's creating positive social impact in their unique, special way. We'd love to feature them and highlight them and share them with the world. Please visit us at nebula.soarcommunitynetwork.com. Thank you so much, everyone. Talk to you soon.